And viewers, joining me now is Republic senior editor politics who's covering the Prime Minister's visit in the United States on the ground. Aishwarya, a very good morning to you, but right now over there it's a wonderful evening at the White House. Clearly, it's the state dinner that's underway. Give us a sense, of how it feels, what the atmosphere is like, and also an overview of the day so far.
Right from his historic welcome at the White House, it was for the first time in the history of American politics that for any political leader, you would have seen this level of welcome at the White House. According to American historians, apart from Pope, who's a religious leader, never ever have there been more than 2,000 people inside the South Lawns of White House. So that was unprecedented on its own. And secondly, you see the speech, and the speech was there for the world to hear. Prime Minister mentioned about women empowerment. Prime Minister mentioned about the development which India and America will do when they come together. And now this state dinner which is on, you see the list. We have the complete list of the dignitaries who are going to be present. India has given its own list, and all of them are present for this historic state dinner as well. This is Prime Minister Modi's first state visit to the U.S. He has become the only Prime Minister in the history of India to be addressing the U.S. Congress for the second time. And if you heard that, if you very clearly heard that historic address, he made it clear that India wants peace. India stands for peace, and that this is not the time for any war. And India stands for diplomacy. He also made it clear regarding women development. He made it clear that India is against radicalization and any kind of terrorism. He said that the world needs to stand up against those who are in any way even directly or indirectly connected with radicalization or terrorism. And there was a standing ovation to that. He gave a clear message that India stands for sustainability. He gave a clear message that India is the only country in G20 which has achieved the Paris norms. So on all the points, he made it clear that we are one. He gave a clear message from New York, which he once again reiterated there in the Congress. He said that all of us need to come together. He said that we are one world, one country, and one nation. If we act like that, we all can achieve. And also simultaneously, the reaction which came in from the U.S. senators, from the U.S. congressmen, it was unheard of. These were unseen visuals. We saw the American congressmen and senators waiting in a queue to just grab one selfie, one autograph with the Indian Prime Minister. It was equivalent to a diaspora event, if I could say so, because they were just like his fans. The senators and the lawmakers of U.S. were acting as our Prime Minister's fan. They were resonating with his views. The real issue is that they understood what Prime Minister Modi stands for. They basically were backing his ideas, and they wanted him when he mentioned that this is just the beginning of the relation between India and U.S. And this was not only about the $3 billion drone deal. This was not only about GE 414 Mark II plane engine. It was not only about the technology exchange. It was not only about the way the American government has been pushing the Indian side to open the insurance sector. Prime Minister Modi has been saying that this new level of connect between India and US could really help the world and could really be a new chapter in the Indo-Pacific relationship, and that is something which is being worked at. And it was a historic speech at the Congress, a historic welcome, an unprecedented welcome at the White House early in the morning. And coming from the American historians, that it was the first to any head of state, to any prime minister of any country, a welcome of this magnitude. More than 6,000 people were present in the South Lawns of White House. We were there. We got you those visuals. And here at the state dinner, once again, Prime Minister reiterating regarding this new friendship, but also stating at the same point of time that this is just the beginning, and that there are new targets to be achieved, and that if India and US come together, nothing is going to be impossible, whether it's the semiconductor transfer of technology is just the beginning. I repeat, this is just the beginning, as it was said by the Prime Minister today, or rather reiterated twice in a day, and that is the point which is irking China, but Prime Minister Modi is not disturbed by it, because under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi today, India holds the skill set to have a separate foreign policy for US, China and Russia, and that India can handle all three together. Otherwise, while the Indian Prime Minister is on his first state visit to the US, India is still importing the largest amount of crude oil from Russia. More than 65% of modernized weaponry export of Russia is to India. And simultaneously, the US President is hailing the Indian Prime Minister and saying that this is a new developing friendship. This is a clear signal of a new India, of a new foreign policy. This was being questioned by several individuals, but line is very clear that India is looking for its own. India made it clear that India is not here to fight anyone's war. India is not here to fill in a space which someone has left. India is not here to replace China in any ways. India has a working relationship with Beijing. India tried that if we could have a better working relationship with Beijing, but China following a very aggressive policy under President Xi. But India still holds a very, very active working relationship with Beijing, keeping in mind that India and China are neighbors, and India understands that you can't change your neighbors. But as far as relations with Washington is concerned, you've seen whether it's the $1 billion defense deal, whether it is technology exchange, whether it is military relations, whether it is political bilaterals, or even that much talked about first ever active political trilateral between India, US and China. If that could be implemented, that is going to be historic. And this visit, so everything about this visit has been historic, right from the welcome here in the White House to the soft diplomacy which we saw in New York. More than 180 countries coming together and doing yoga. Prime Minister gave a message of peace from New York, and here in DC it has been brass tacks. Whether it is the semiconductor deal, whether it's the GE 414 aircraft engine deal, or the $3 billion drone deal, Prime Minister Modi has made one thing very clear, that India is ready to have these deals with US with only one condition, that interests of India have to be kept at the forefront. For India, one thing which cannot be compromised is interest of India. And keeping that in mind, India today is having an equally strong foreign policy with Moscow, to have 65% export from Russia of military and cutting-edge defense technology to India,
right,
with being the largest importer of crude oil from Russia, and simultaneously with this new developing relation between Delhi and Washington. Back to you in the studios.
Right. Well, many thanks, Aishwarya, for bringing us up to speed on that and sharing those thoughts with us. And meanwhile, it's time now for a short break. But all the other details on the Prime Minister's US visit on the other side, stay with us.